afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's upskilling on relationship skills. So we have prepared for you a group of panel from the Office of Student Affairs to address questions that you might have regarding relationships. So relationships require skills for them to be able to be built and grown. So we hope that through this panel discussion this afternoon, you will be enlightened and will have more confidence in pursuing, building, and growing relationships moving forward. I will now be turning you over to our host this afternoon, Ma'am Jess, so that you can learn more from our colleagues from the Office of Student Affairs.
The views and opinions expressed by the host and the speakers do not necessarily state or reflect those of the department and the university.
Magandang hapon, everyone. So, thank you, Prof. Ciara, for introducing our activity for this afternoon, a collaboration between Learning Resource Center and Office of Student Affairs. So, in life, we have a lot of roles and hats to wear, depending on the relationship that we have to other people. So this afternoon, we are fortunate to have 4 panel members or guests to share their thoughts, perspectives, or opinions about relationship and how this could help you in upskilling your skills in relating to other people. So without further ado, let me introduce to you our panel. So let's start off with Beatriz Andrea Morente. She is a guidance services specialist from OSA, and today she will be sharing her thoughts on being a daughter, And then we also have with us one of our senior psychosocial counselor from OSA again, Ms. Micah Lacerna, to share her perspective as a student. And of course, for sure, most of you naman know already the Learning and Resource Center main man, Mr. Dustin Palacio. And this afternoon, he would give us his views and perspective as an employee. And last, but definitely not the least, another senior psychosocial counselor from OSA, Mr. Albert Matthew Alonzo, to provide his opinions as a husband and a father. So, mukhang madami tayong mga tanong this afternoon, Talagang very interesting kasi, ang pag-uusap tungkol sa relasyon. And maganda siguro na maumpisahan natin na marinig sa mga panel kung ano ba, yung tingin nila sa isang relationship and what do you usually do, in establishing a relationship. Thanks po. Habang nagkakatansyahan pa po dito, you can also join us sa Slido. You can scan the code, and give your thoughts, perspectives din dun sa mga mababatong tanong. Also, you can give in some questions, Baka sakaling may bato pa natin yan sa panel natin later on.
Sige po, ako na po mauna.
Ready?
Ako ma'am, para may sagot.
Okay, sige.
Siguro po for me personally, a relationship is a collaborative effort. So, hindi naman po mangyayari ang isang relasyon kung isang tao lang yung nakikitungo. So, for me, it's something that you work on together, you build together, whether that's in terms of friendship, being a parent, being a student with your teacher. So, and in terms of establishing that naman po, for me then, ma'am, it's about making the choice to, to interact, to join in on a conversation, to say hi to someone, to say hi to your crush, yeah. So, ayun po, yun po yung relationship for me.
Ako, I would agree with Ma'am Bea, pero I'd like to put it simply. Relationship for me is a way of relating, building connection. And the way to establish relationship is simply by interacting. Na when we had an initial interaction with other parties, we get to learn more about this other person. And from the interaction, may matututunan tayo from the interaction, mas makikilala natin sila. And from that knowledge, malalaman na rin natin kung paano ba yung magiging interaction natin sa kanila. Siguro, if it seems that na itong type of relationship na to would require constant communication, then we try our best to build that dun sa relationship. Pero kung this type of relationship naman is something na transactional lang, then we interact lang siguro in a way na we deemed it necessary dun sa relationship. So in a nutshell, relationship is the way of interacting, and how to establish it is simply interacting. Yung level na interaction would depend sa level of relationship mo.
Na gusto din sigurong i-build with the person. So, na-mention ni Ma'am Bea, no, collaborative effort. Tapos, I think Ma'am Micah also mentioned about knowledge, no, dun sa pinapagkapwa-tauhan mo, no? Okay, sige. Sino dito sa dalawang to? Mauuna.
Sige, mauna na ako. Bali, sa akin, yung relationship, pwede siyang casual or emotional na relationship. Yung pagiging casual is yung nakikipag-relationship. Nag-build ka ng relationship yung sa mga co-workers mo, and yung mga hindi mo personally talaga na binibigay lahat-lahat. Samantalang yung emotional relationship naman para sa akin is dahil dun yung mas malawak, kumbaga mas malalim na connection between dun sa dalawang party. Bali ang connection, ang relationship para sa akin is tawag dito, bukod sa collaborative effort siya, no, is siya, para siyang team, kumbaga. Kumbaga hindi siya mabubuo ng mag-isa ka lang, kailangan may kasama ka lagi. Partnership at kumbaga ang tawag dito. Wala tuloy ako, no?
Hindi ako pa naman.
Ayun. Bali, walang relasyon kung walang kasama. Kumbaga siya yung acquaintance mo.
So, important factor that you have someone to relate with.
Okay, so I agree with all of you guys. For me, when to say na nasa relasyon ka, there is a deeper connection. No? Maliwanag yon sa dalawang tao or more than two person na there is a deeper connection among those people inside the relationship. And when I say deeper connection, you share a bond na pagkakakilanlan sa bawat isa, no, na kumbaga hindi nyo matatanggi, no, na ito siya, ito ikaw, no, and there is this respect, no, the differences among inside the relationship. So doon ko masasabi na nasa relasyon ka kapag yun nga, you have a deeper connection at may respeto ka doon sa relasyon mo, kung sino siya.
Yeah, so doon naman what I got was the respect, no, the value of you just don't relate to other people, but you also respect kung ano man yung mga siguro prinsipyo nila or mga pinaniniwalaan nila for you to build a relationship. And dun sa naging definition, ang nakita ko dun, it is important that you define what relationship do you want with this person. No, parang it leads the way to how you would treat the relationship if you define it, no? So yun kasi na narinig ko na parang lumalabas dun sa mga naging sharing. Pero since napag-uusapan na rin naman natin kung ano yung definition ng relasyon para sa inyo, tsaka ano yung mga ginawa nyo sa mga para ma-establish yung relationship, I would want to know, kasi you have, sabi ko nga kanina nung introduction, they wear different hats. And we all wear, actually, as individuals, we wear different hats. But for this afternoon specifically, they represent something that they have, no, as a role that they have. Gusto ko lang tanongin, kamusta yung mga relasyon nyo dun sa role nyo ngayon? Bilang anak, bilang estudyante, bilang empleyado, at bilang family man. So how are your relationships right now in terms of building that? Gulat kayo? So, kamusta naman?
Sa akin, bilang isang asawa, no, bilang isang tatay, sa ngayon yung relationship ko with my family, masasabi kong maganda at maayos. No? So, paano ko nasabi? Kasi unang-una, wala namang namumuong problema, no, na kung saan may pagtatalo, hindi pagkakaunawaan. So sa ngayon, maayos, no, na nakikipag-communicate sa asawa at sa anak. At ganun din naman sila sa akin. No, so malinaw yung communication, yung mga nais iparating sa bawat isa, and walang pagtatalong nagaganap. No, so kaya sa ngayon, yung status ng relationship namin, yung marriage namin, maayos. And then, yung relasyon ko sa anak ko, maayos din.
It's nice to hear, no? At least may panel tayo, maayos yung relationship niya. Sana all. Okay, so, pero I'd like to get that keyword na sa ngayon. So meaning, parang it implies that it can vary from time to time, no? If you are in a relationship na baka medyo nagsa-struggle as of the moment, yun lang, who knows, in time, baka mas maayos, depending on the skills that you will deploy later on in terms of relating with another person, no? So, ilabas na ba natin yung mga susunod na mga nasa ng puso nyo ngayon? Ganyan.
Wala. sa akin, gayahin ko siya, no? As of the moment, okay naman yung relationship namin sa opisina. Meron kaming collaborative effort sa lahat ng mga ginagawa namin. Then, ganun din po, nagkakaroon kami ng teamwork sa lahat ng mga decision making. Hindi kami basta-basta ako dito, ako dyan. Lagi kaming bago mag-decision kaya namin, tatanungan muna kami. Binavalue namin yung bawat idea, bawat opinion ng bawat empleyado.
So, importante rin yun, di ba? Valuing yung kanya-kanyang opinion na binibigay. So, yun yung isang lumalabas na key, no, doon sa good relationship that you have right now with Ma'am Jo and Prof. Sha.
Ako naman as a grad student, no, right now, gagayahin ko din yung mga sinagot nila. Maayos naman kayo so far. I am successfully complying with the requirements in terms of relationship with the professor tsaka dun sa academics, no. In terms naman of my relationship dun sa mga kaklase, if I may say, no? Pero kasi hindi siya laging sila yung kaklase mo, hindi blocks eh. Iba na sa masters, no? People may come and go. And I'm thankful na right now, meron akong mga na-establish na deeper connection with some of my classmates. And so far, yon okay naman yung relationship namin na we can be each other's support system. May mapagtatanungan, at the same time, may mga group works na napagtutulungan namin. And thankfully, nakapag-adjust na rin kami sa online setup. So, mas naging madali na sa amin to collaborate in an online or pa-transition na rin sa face-to-face setup.
Yeah. So, totoo yun, no, na when you are a grad student, hindi siya as siguro close-knit as a block ng college kasi yun nga, yung mga minsan nag-enroll this term, next term wala sila, ganyan. But when you're able to find people that you prefer, establishing relationship na, as you mentioned kanina, may mga ibang relationship na transactional eh. So, kung meron ka mga nakita dun sa grad school na okay, this is more than transactional, yung gusto kong mabuild sa kanyang relationship. Maganda na papanatili yon or na-maintain yun. So later on, siguro I'll be asking more of that, no, yung mga maintenance natin sa relasyon. How about you naman, Ma'am Bay?
Siguro ibahin ko lang konti. As a daughter, maayos yung relationship ko with my family. Pero also right now, I think it's a point of adjustment for us kasi may changes at my age kasi. So from before, sa last webinar kasi sa amin natin, ma'am, na may binanggit ni Sir Matt, may different hats ang parents. Ngayon, yung parents ko, nasa role na mostly ng observers ng life ko kasi I can make my own decisions. I'm an adult. So it's me branching out into the world, finding my own place. Pero also nandun na rin yung kumbaga friendship in being able to relate to their struggles as adults na parang, hala, ganito pala yung magbayad ng bills, ganito pala yung magbayad ng tuition. So it's that adjustment phase where you're starting to understand your family, where they're coming from better. At the same time, it's also trying to establish your own individuality po. So ayun, I think for me, it's good, pero it's a point for adjustment.
Sabi nga sa Slido, hashtag
Yes,
adulting.
totoo.
Tapos yung isa pa kanina, I think nakarelate to dun sa bawal po ang situationship. Define the relationship. So baka mamaya lumabas yun sa mga batuhan pa natin ng tanong. So magandang mag-stay tuned pa tayo. Yan. So kung makikita nyo sa panel natin dun sa tanong na yon, nothing is perfect, no? Yes, maganda. Yes, okay, maayos. Pero at times there will be adjustments and there will be issues or concerns in terms of relating with your people. I'd like to say your people. Kasi kayo yung namimili ng mga ikakarelasyon nyo, no? Hindi lang naman romantic, as you can see sa ating mga panel. Doon sa parte na yon, syempre, madaming naging tanong, no? Doon sa point of hindi masyadong maayos. Kasi doon naman papasok talaga how you upgrade your skills, di ba? So, sa sobrang dami po ng tanong, kinailangan po natin siya i-categorize. So, I'd like to siguro start off with the questions relating to self-expression. So, tatanong po natin sa panel ngayon, no? I'm sure sa edad po nila, madami na silang napagdaanan tungkol sa pag-express ng kanilang mga sarili. So, the first question is, have you had experiences in which you have found it difficult to express yourself to others because you are in consideration of what they think and or feel? You know our culture, our Filipino culture. So, and mamaya ko napapahabol din sa susunod na question. So, meron ba kayo naging experience na hindi kayo masyadong naging ganun ka-comfortable expressing your true self because you're worried na ano yung isipin or mararamdaman ng other party or yung mga taong involved doon sa...
Sige ma'am, I'd go first, no? As a grad student, lalo nung as in kakapasok ko lang sa masters, parang nabigla ako na pagpasok ko, we introduce ourselves sa professors, tapos nagpapakilala yung mga classmates ko na ito na experience na, ito yung position niya ngayon, ito na yung level ng knowledge nila. And there he was, no? An almost fresh graduate with only months of experience. So parang, at nung start talaga nung masteral, parang mga doktor pa yung mga professors mo. So kapag kami mga instances, nag-share ng discussions or may collaborative task, no, nagagawin namin as a group, parang nandun kasi ako sa thought process ng umpisa na, anong alam ko? Tapos parang mas, iniisip ko na mas may alam sila. So, listen lang muna tayo, observe, and then hayaan natin na mas mag-decide sila. So, in a way, yung effect sa akin nun is nape-prevent ako na mag-share ng ideas sa takot na baka isipin nila hindi maganda yung ideas ko or baka alam na nila yon, something like that, na walang value yung masasabi ko. So, at first, parang ganon, no? And thankfully, may mga instances kung saan I was forced to share my ideas. So, ayun, naka-receive naman ako ng feedback. And siguro doon, medyo nag-boost yung confidence, no? Pero at some point, I had to learn not to rely yung parang self-concept or confidence ko with how they would think kasi we can never please everyone. Kaya, ayun, at some point, I had to learn, and I'm still learning it, na yung confidence would come from how I see myself. And, yun, compare na lang myself from how I used to be to how I'm progressing now. Parang gano'n.
I think sa mga estudyanteng nakikinig at nanonood sa atin ngayon, makaka-relate dyan, especially sa ating mga freshies, no, na pag bagong pasok, di ba, syempre there are certain culture already in the university na baka hindi same with how you're used to. So, maganda rin na yung suggestion nga na nagawa ni Ma'am Micah na yung confidence mo, don't rely it to other people. You rely it to yourself, no? Pero syempre, there's always that kind of learning experience para makuha mo yung lakas ng loob to build that. And hindi lang to para sa mga freshies, I'm sure, yung mga students natin, kahit anong level pa nila, diba? Pag they get to relate to people or to professors that are really top notch, 'di ba? Yung meron kang certain pressure, no, to be good, to be better pa nga than you are, no? So, I think maganda rin na yung na-share mo, Ma'am Micah, na maalala na you just have to try. If there will come a time na mapupwersa ka, 'di ba? Labanan mo lang, push lang tayo doon sa experience na yon. And from there, you also build relationships with your professors, no? You get to know them, 'di ba? Okay. How about topic kayo ulit.
Siguro sa akin, bilang asawa, no, in my part naman, what I've experienced is different, no. Yung sa konsepto na parang hindi naipapakita yung sarili. Sa akin naman, napapakita ko yung makagustuhan ko, yung decision na para sa pamilya. No, pero in a manner of collaboration, no, yung nabanggit kanina, collaborative effort. Kumbaga, hindi siya para lang sa sarili ko, yung mga idea at yung mga paniniwala, but rather, may kasama ako, may partner ako. So, dalawa kami. Kumbaga, yung sharing ng mga thoughts ko, yung mga naiisip kong pwede namin gawin sa pamilya namin, no? Nandoon siya presently, pero hindi siya parang pang sarili lang. No? So, makikinig pa rin ako dun sa sasabihin ng misis ko, no, opinion niya, yung mga pananaw niya. So, para dun sa anak namin, and then para sa family namin. So, ganun. So, kumbaga parang ako naman, sa akin, naging madali na maipakita or ma-share yung mga gusto ko dun sa loob ng relasyon. Pero hindi siya parang pansarili. Parang, yun nga, pang sa relationship, sa aming tatlo.
Mapapasana all ka na talaga. So, dun sa mga nakahanap na ng mga dawan ninyo, siguro magandang point yon na if your relationship does not allow you, or this romantic relationship does not allow you to be your 100% self, baka kailangan natin mag-evaluate. Kasi according sa ating family man dito, sobrang komportable, no? Hindi naging, parang walang hindrance para sa kanya to express himself to his wife, no? Not only for their marriage, but also for the family. So, point yan na magandang ma-take into consideration when you are having your romantic relationships. Na syempre, if gusto natin yan pang lifetime, diba? Take it. Okay. Sir Dustin, ready?
Sa akin naman, sa experience ko, mayayain talaga ako. Mayayain ako ng person. Niwala man kayo sa hindi.
Naniniwala ba kayo?
Siguro dun sa mga first job ko na talagang nahihirapan ako mag-express. Kasi hindi ko alam kung ano ba ito, ang gagaling naman itong mga ito. Siguro lalo na napasok ko sa YouTube. Kung hindi mo kama, nakikita nila yung mga pagkakamali mo. Sabi niya, hey, shit. Sorry. Oh, no. Anong panlaban mo? So, ikaw, ang ano mo, parang nahihiya ka mag-express ng sarili mo. Pero eventually, nung nakilala ko na yung mga nakakasama ko sa trabaho, na-express ko na kaunti-unti. Ang pinaka-trick, magpakatotoo ka lang kung ano yung alam mo, kung ano yung hindi mo alam. Sabihin mo kung alam mo. Hindi ko alam. Tuturuan ka nila hanggang sa mag-evolve ka. Ang nakakatuwa lang din kasi, nakakala natin, di ba, minsan, tawag yan, parang kinukumpara natin laging sarili natin dun sa mga nakapaligid sa atin. Pero hindi natin alam na kapag ginagawa natin yun, lalo natin binababa yung sarili natin. Ang natutunan ko dun sa mga experiences na yun, na hindi mo kailangan laging kinukumpara yung sarili mo. Mas maganda yung magpakatotoo ka lang kung ano yung hindi mo alam, kung ano yung alam mo. Kasi eventually, tuturo naman nila sa yan, matututunan mo din. So, sa experience yun. Yun yung, usually, tuwing nalilipat ako, kahit yung nalipat ako sa LRC, mga unang linggo niyan, tahimik pa ako eh. Nakikiramdam pa ako, hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin ko eh. Ultimo yung computer pa, nalaglag ko pa nga yata nun eh. Tapos, parang, anong sasabihin mo? Tapos, eventually, nung naging magkakasundo na kami, nakakapag-express na rin ako ng mga opinions ko, yung mga Kaya mas maganda talaga umpisa pa lang, ipakita mo na kung sino ka eh. Kasi kapag yung pinatagal mo pa, yung parang ang akala namin ganito ka, ang akala namin ganito ka, ang akala namin ganyan ka. Parang doon nadidisappoint yung mga tao eh. Pero pag umpisa pa lang, pinakita mo na kung ano yung alam mo, kung ano yung hindi mo alam, hindi na sila magtataka. Kumbaga parang kung may manggaling man sa yung magandang idea, uy, so bagay kasi umpisa pa lang, ganito na siya eh. Umpisa pa lang, ganito na siya. Kaya mas maganda talaga umpisa pa lang, magpakatotoo na tayo.
Maganda yung honesty, no?
Opo.
In relating with other people, you have to really be all out, honest. But hindi kasi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, it's easy for people to be 100% honest. But that's a challenge, if you want to really build a good relationship. Kita nyo naman, napakaganda ng relationship ni Sir Dustin sa LRC. So that's the key. You have to be honest now. Okay. Sige, how about you, Ma'am Bea?
Nalalamig po kamay ko kasi relationship sa parent. Nalalamig po ko. Hindi.
Gusto mo ba mag-shoutout sa iyong mommy?
Pero I think, yes, at some point, I think lahat ng anak makaka-relate in a way na may mga pagkakataon ka talagang hindi mo ma-express lahat sa magulang mo dahil nahihiya ka, maybe yung iba medyo fearful, depende din kasi sa pakikitungo ng parents natin sa atin. Pero siguro kasi for me, what I try to practice is I still try to share. Hindi man lahat, pero what I feel comfortable with sharing with my parent. Kasi that's how you build a relationship. Kaya po nang sabi kanina, it's a collaborative effort. Sometimes, short sharings lang siya, pero also it can be a deeper connection. And also, I try to overcome that by understanding na tao ako, pero tao rin yung magulang ko. Kumbaga, pareho kaming may mga problema, may mga naging past experiences that factor into how we interact as parent and child. So, siguro, kung hindi ganun ka-receptive ang parent, ang pwedeng gawin ng anak from my perspective po is respect them enough to, give them space or to at least consider where are they coming from. Pero at the same time, respect yourself by giving yourself space if you need it. So, kung kailangan mo man ng space, if hindi maging parang swak yung views, if nagiging uncomfortable yung discussion, siguro some time to yourself to internalize and process what you can do that's within your control. So, ayun yun po for me as a daughter.
As a daughter. So, yun nga, ika nga, diba, hindi lahat magkakapamilya, hindi lahat, meaning bubuo ng pamilya, hindi lahat pwedeng maging estudyante, hindi lahat magiging may trabaho, pero lahat tayo at one point ay magiging anak. Mm-hmm. So, it's really important that you maintain that kind of, hindi natin masabi kasi na perfect relationship with parents. I guess makaka-relate po ang ating mga participants for this afternoon, no, na hindi lahat okay or talagang perfect ang relasyon sa magulang. But as Ma'am Bea has mentioned, trying to build something with your parents, even with your siblings, sama na natin, trying to start a relationship or trying to initiate communication with them. That might be something na a step to improving your upskilling your relationship with your parents. Yan. At dahil dyan, mukhang mainit-init talaga yung ating discussion. Punta tayo sa slide natin. Kasi may mga nakita na akong questions din. No? Yan. So, in general po, how can you determine if a relationship is worth keeping? Or is it something you can decide alone since sabi niyo po it is always a team? So I'm guessing this can also go for friendships, and most probably relationship to. Parang napalunok po yung ating mga panel sa tanong. So how can you determine daw if a relationship is worth keeping?
Doon daw tayo nagsimula sa 100%.
See, relationship, syempre, how do you know that it's worth
Eh,
keeping?
bago naman kami ng pakasal ng misis ko, we've been together for 6 years. No? So, as girlfriend, boyfriend. So, when to say it is worth keeping, no? For me, everything is worth keeping kapag through ups and down, nag-work kayo together. No? So, you decide na maayos lagi yung kayong dalawa. Hindi siya yung mag-isa ka lang na nahihirapan. Kung hindi, kung may problema man kayo sa relasyon, dalawa kayong nahihirapan at hindi kayo bumibitaw. No? So, by that, naramdaman ko na may mararating to. No? We can still progress to a higher level. Which eventually, yun nga, nag-go sa okay, sal kami. So, ganun, no? Yun ko masasabi na worth keeping yun kasi nakikita mong nasa loob ka talaga ng relasyon dahil dalawa kayo na nag-work with that sa lahat ng bagay, mapaganda o mapapangit. No? So, that's it for me.
Papalitan ko na yung nickname ni Sir Matt, Mr. Sana. Oh, Mr. Sana. So, meron pa sa yung idadagdag dun sa paano nyo na-identify? Kasi for Sir Matt, I'm sure, balik natin dun sa mga may romantic relationship, no? Worth keeping siya if hindi lang sa saya, nandyan yung tao, kundi sa hirap din. So, it goes also dun sa kabilang part, no? Hindi ka lang sa saya nandun para sa tao, dun sa hirap din. Sige ba? Yes?
Ako siguro as a grad student, no, life in the university can pose some challenges, lalo na kung masteral level or doctoral pa, no. Pero ang pinaka-ano doon is we have a goal when we enter the university. We wanted to learn, we wanted to siguro somehow have a network, no, kasi for future baka may ma-present silang opportunities in the future. So with that in mind, siguro how do we determine if the relationship is worth keeping, no, in terms of yung mamimit natin in the university, no, if they are supportive network, if they can bring out the best in you, if they can be there for you na ma-help ka ma-achieve kung ano man yung goals niyo in the university. Parang yun siguro yung parang pinaka I think, no, sign na this relationship is worth keeping in the university.
Parang karamay mo din na ma-achieve yung, kumbaga siguro same, not necessarily same goals, pero yung beliefs yung medyo pare-pareho. I think essential din yan when you're choosing your group of friends, no? Na makakasama mo not only for the university, but even in the milestones that you have in life eventually. So maganda na pare-pareho kayo. Hindi man kayo pare-pareho ng pagdadaanan, pero alam nyo sa isa't isa na pare-pareho tayo na may pupuntahan tayo. How about po siguro?
Professional standpoint, kapag yung tawag dito, yung trabaho mo, no, kailan mo siya kailangan bitawan. Yung tipong hindi mo na, palagay ko yun yung tipong hindi mo na na-meet yung mga kailangan mo, yung mga pangangailangan mo. Kumbaga, kahit sobrang attached ka doon sa relationship, sa mismong pinagtatrabahuhan mo. Kung hindi ka na niya nakikip, kung yung mismong trabaho na yun, hindi na namimit yung mga requirements mo sa buhay, pwede mo na siya i-let go.
Yeah. Naman, so, I think
As
doon
long
din,
as na nag-i-in ka na may mapupuntahan at may malilit.
may plan.
Hindi depends ka. Wala ka palang kakainin bukas.
Diba? Be practical, no? When you learn,
Kasi para sa akin lahat ng trabaho, worth keeping. Kasi ang hirap magkatrabaho ngayon.
yes.
Kumbaga, maging thankful tayo kung ano yung meron tayo ngayon. Pero dapat hindi tayo makontento. Hanggat nakikip pa tayo dun sa mga ano na yun, sa mga pangailangan, sa needs natin, pwede pa natin siyang panghawakan.
So, dapat siguro yung sinasabi ni Sir Dustin doon, no? Na-fulfill yung needs mo. Not necessarily yung financial aspect lang, but also other needs na personally ikaw kailangan mo sa isang trabaho. No? So, yung capabilities mo siguro mas na-hone pa din dun sa work, or maganda yung working relationship mo with your staff na kasama doon. So, yun.
Just to add lang with Sir Dustin, siguro in terms of the work, no, I agree dun sa sinabi ni Sir, and also yung konsepto nung it follows your values also. Kasi mahirap na magtrabaho sa isang kumpanya o institusyon na hindi naman naaayon din sa personal values mo. So baka magkaroon ka ng conflict towards that, no? Kunyari, yung kumpanya na pasok mo, modus pa. Di ba? So, pero nagtitiis ka dahil may pangangailangan ka, which is money, to address your physical needs, no? Physiological needs. Pero doesn't follow your principles and values. Mahirap yan for me. No? So, siguro just to add, syempre maganda din na sumusunod or naayon dito sa personal values and beliefs. Kahit pa.
Yes, ma'am.
Pwedeng fast kuya sa doctor.
Kasi yung worth keeping.
Pamilya po yan.
General.
Hindi. I mean, siguro for me, in a family context, for me kasi, I understand the
Maintaining
values.
siguro would be the mas fit na term pag as a daughter in respect to family. Kasi talagang family, you keep it. Pero yung maintaining
The part, yun.
the relationship.
Pinoprocess ko siya. Kanina mo nagsasalita din. Pero kasi for me, I understand kasi my family's value for me personally. So my family is important for me. So it's a relationship I see that's worth maintaining. Pero at the same time, we also understand na it's different per family. It's different per parent. So I think what's best to consider in terms of maintaining certain relationships with family, it's what are your needs and what's realistic for you at the moment? Kasi ang need mo, kung minor ka, it's your parents eh. Sila magpipirma lahat, sila magbibigay ng clothes, ng bahay. And what's realistic? Kasi of course, there are certain laws that would bind children to their family, bind minors to their family. So yun yung need and yun yung realistic. Pero at the same time, also, if there are second thoughts, there are points of processing, try to reflect, like really reflect then, second guess or think about your decisions kung ano rin magiging effect nun sa'yo personally if you decide on a certain decision in terms of maintaining your relationship with family members, with parents. So, ayun, I think ayun yung for me, yung needs, what's realistic, and also your own reactions, the effect it will have on you.
So generally, when we listen to the answers of the panel, it always comes down to your preferences. Very important na makilala mo yung sarili mo before you engage in relating to others. Kasi makita natin yung values, yung dun sa kung saan yung mga goals, lahat yun internal lahat yun ikaw. And then you decide, you get to choose, who to relate to, who to parang maintain relationships with. So, similar yun sa lahat dun sa panel. And then, thank you for that. Meron pa tayong question sa Slido.
How do you address?
How do you address to another person that you feel uneasy or irritated without hurting the person or without being rude? So I think it's connected also with the next category that we I found dun sa mga questions about setting boundaries. So i-follow through ko na lang din along with that question is if someone naman is declining or saying no to you, can you describe it in which it wouldn't come off offensive? So parang answer nung side ng paano mo siya sasabihin sa tao. At the same time, if you're ikaw yung nakakatanggap, paano mo gustong sabihin sa'yo nung taong yun? Paano mo gustong tumanggi sa'yo yung tao? So paano ka tatanggi? Para parehong side. Wala tayong pinipili at kinikilingan na side. So doon tayo sa tatanggi at tinatanggihan. So kung ikaw ay tatanggihan, paano mo gustong tanggihan ka? At kung ikaw ang tatanggi, paano ka tatanggi?
Kasi yun nga, bilang asawa, talagang maraming mga desisyon na kailangan ding ma-encounter as couple, from time to time, Hindi lang para sa anak, but para sa amin din. So, paano ko ginagawa yung pagtanggi? Kalimitan, no? Kunyari sasabihin ko na maganda yung opinion, maganda yung sinabi mo, no? Naintindihan ko kung saan ka nang gagaling, pero sa tingin ko, itong bagay na to, mas makabuti kung ganito yung gagawin natin. So, parang kumbaga sa akin, kapag tatanggi ako doon kay Mrs., parang sinasabi ko muna na na-appreciate ko, no, yung konsepto nung yung idea, yung effort, no, pinapakita kong naunawaan ko bago ko sasabihin yung nais ko, no, na sa tingin kong pwedeng mas effective, no. So by that parang hindi kami nagkakaroon ng problema or conflict, no, sa ganun. But yeah, in the end of the day, ganun pa din, compromising, meeting halfway. So ganun yung nangyayari. Kung paano sa akin sasabihin yung pagtanggi, siguro gusto ko ganun din, malinaw, maayos, mapapaliwanag kung bakit, ano ang dahilan kung bakit tatanggi, no? Para ako naman, personally, no, bilang tatay, bilang asawa, mauunawaan ko yung part ng misis ko, ng anak ko, na ito pala yung pinagdadaanan nila, ito pala yung gusto nilang mangyari, at ito rin yung other side of the coin na baka hindi ko nakikita. So by that, parang sa akin, kung ganun yung magiging paraan ng pagtanggi, mas parang patanggap-tanggap or sabihin natin magaan, tanggapin na, oops, daddy, hindi mo na yan ang masusunod na konsepto or idea, pero ito, na so ganun.
Sige, ako naman. Dun muna sa kung paano kung ako yung tatanggihan, no. Thankfully, no, nandito na ako sa parang at a point in my life kung saan naiintindihan ko na every individual is unique with varying life experiences, roles to play in life, and performing at different capacities. Kaya when a person says no to me, I respect them, no? And I try not to take offense dun sa pag-say no. After all, a no is a complete sentence. And that person, whoever he or she is, I do not owe me an explanation, no? Pero siguro, in terms of siguro the level of the relationship that we have, I would greatly appreciate kapag yung taong hiningan ko ng pabor or yun, no, hiningan ko ng request, sasabihin niya sa akin kahit para na siguro mas magiging at peace ako sa estado ng relasyon namin kung maiintindihan ko ano yung pinanggagalingan ng no niya. Pero again, hindi niya kailangan mag-explain or andun ako sa point na I would respect whatever the decision is. Ayun po.
How about you pag ikaw naman yung magsasabi ng no?
Ayun, no, ako, I would appreciate din kapag kayong nag-no sa akin ay parang somehow mapapa-feel sa akin na I was cared for, I was considered dun sa decision. So, ganun ko siya gagawin sa ibang tao na pag talagang, syempre, no, hindi lang as a grad student, that's only one area of my life. I could have a work, I could have also tasks and responsibilities at home with other relationships. So talagang I have to accept na I'm only one person. I only have one body with 24 hours a day. Kaya I cannot say yes to everything. Kaya when that happens, siguro I'll try. Tapos hindi ko talaga kayang i-cater yung request na yun. Yeah. I would politely say no and explain. Parang kahit they don't owe me, I don't owe them an explanation, I would still explain as much as I can para lang alam nila na ito yung pinagdadaanan ko, kaya I cannot.
Kumbaga may pinanggagalingan yung no na yun. How about siguro, I think medyo, interesting to listen or to hear yung pag-no sa trabaho at sa pamilya. Kasi with friends, no, with romantic relationships, parang meron tayong allowance talaga sa mga no's. No, pero with family and work, paano kaya yun? Napakadami talaga naggaling dun sa konteksto ng sa trabaho and also sa pamilya, dun sa mga questions, no, in setting boundaries. Actually, including na din ang mga group mates. Yeah, sa mga group mates na classmates. Yeah.
para sa akin, technically, mahirap talagang tumanggi sa trabaho. Napakahirap tumanggi. Mahirap sabihan sa boss mo na, ay, hindi ko po, ay, ayoko po. Kailangan mo ng tapang, no? Kailangan matapang ka para sabihin mo yung bagay na yan. Pero yun nga, maging honest ka kung magsasalita ka ng mo. Kasi, kailangan naman kunin mo yung trabaho, hindi mo alam. Kumbaga, magsisimula siguro siya dun sa ma'am, pasensya na po, hindi ko alam to, pero kung gusto niyo po akong gumawa nito, pwede po ba turuan niyo ako dito sa partner? Kasi ako, lagi ako nangutusan Yung mga bagay naman na utos, hindi naman yun alam, agad-agad alam ko. Pero kapag nagpaturo ka kasi sa kanila, mas ma-appreciate nila yun. Alam ko, hindi mo alam yan. Sige, tuturuan kita para sa susunod. Alam mo na. Tapos, kung ikaw naman yung ihindi, mas madali siya kung pagka yung tao dito, isasala-alang mo yung scope ng trabaho mo. Halimbawa, yung inuutos sa'yo, beyond na dun sa scope ng job description mo, pwede ka siguro hindi talaga. Kumbaga, halimbawa, may managerial task, pero hindi ka naman messenger. Baka pwede kang mag-no doon. Kasi, may sarili silang allowance Kumbaga, may binibigay dun sa mga messenger na hindi mo natatanggap. Bakit mo i-take yung risk? Kasi may risk yan pagka lumalabas ka ng opisina. So, may tao dito, isasala-alang mo pa rin kung ano yung yung kailangan aralin mo kung anong trabaho mo. Para alam mo kapag inutusan ka, kung kailan ka magsasalita ng no, tsaka yes.
How about naman, sir, pag hinindihan, for example, yung leave mo? Paano mo gustong tanggihan yung leave mo? Hindi approve yung leave mo, Sir Dustin. Ano sasabihin sa'yo? Yun, yung mga ganun. Kasi reality, no? Minsan tayo as employees, hindi naman natin nakukuha lahat ng, kunyari, request natin, no? Paano siguro siya i-break sa'yo? In a way na mararamdaman mo na, ay, hindi naman to tinanggihan lang just for the sake na tinanggihan lang.
Usually kapag tinanggihan kasi ako, pinag-aaralan kung bakit ako tinanggihan. Halimbawa, anong araw ba ako mag-leave? Friday. Kung wala yung kasama ko, or kung merong ibang activity ng araw na yun, matatanggap ko na bakit hindi ako. Usually kasi tayo rin naman, hindi naman tayo basta-basta nag-leave. Pinag-aaralan natin kung kailan tayo mag-leave, kung tapos na yung trabaho natin. Siguro, kung dinisapprove man yung leave mo na tawag dito na walang concrete na reason, tanggapin mo na lang.
Processing. Process mo na lang.
Kasi kesa ilaban mo magkakaroon kasi kayo ng conflict kapag nilaban mo yun Kasi tawag dito, pwede ka naman mag-leave sa ibang araw. Siguro na lang kung talagang emergency. Siguro pwede mong i-insist yun na, pwede po ba talaga kasi ganito na. Pero dapat sa maayos na paraan, hindi yung namimilit ka. Kasi hindi rin naman natin hawak yung buong kumpanya. Kumbaga, ka pa rin, under ka pa rin nila.
So, kumbaga, you assert yourself in a respectful manner.
Kagaya sa mga suggestions din, kailangan hindi mo isipin na yung suggestion mo. Solid yun yung tama. Kasi suggestion lang naman yun. Kumbaga, tanggapin mo kung tatanggapin nila o hindi. Dapat expect the unexpected.
Yeah, expect the unexpected.
Ayun, another point na parang mahirap
favors ng parents, favors.
Parang minsan kapag yung parents, uy, sama ka, uy, mag-hike ka sa tita mo. Parang ang hirap mag-no in that context. Pero kasi, like I said earlier, acknowledge na different kasi yung relationship natin per family. Ako kasi, when I say no to my mom, I explain why. Yun nga. I mean, although yun nga, no is a complete sentence, pero in the context of family, sometimes you have to give them a little bit of a background. For example, ma, hindi mo pwede, may assignment ako, pagod ako, I need to rest. So, yun sa context in my own family. Pero, ayun nga, for different families, sometimes if hindi man always feasible ang no for you, what's the compromise? Parang, okay, sige po, sasama ko, pero pwede po bang uwi tayo ng gantong oras? Pwede po bang pag-hi ko kay tita, balik na po ako sa ginagawa ko? Kasi hindi po kami ganun ka-drive ni tita. Baka may different, different wavelength po si tita. So, siguro yun, in the context of families, no, with a bit of a background, pero at the same time, also compromising in a way na comfortable ka pa rin.
I'm sure the students would relate, no? Sometimes talaga yung parents natin, in their efforts to always build relationships with us, minsan they ask for favors, they ask for requests na minsan hindi okay sa atin. So, I think magandang suggestion yun. And generally, dun sa nabanggit naman ng ating mga panel, it's important to speak up, no? Yun lang kasi yung way for you to be able to voice out or express yourself kung may hindi ka gusto. No, at the same time, dun sa part naman ng mga natanggihan, no, or hindi na-accept, no, it's the way we receive those responses would matter as well. And siguro nandun na din yung respeto, nandun na din yung maayos na pag-express at bigyan din siguro ng allowance, gaya ng sabi nga ni Ma'am Micah, no, na lahat tayo individual, unique tayo, may mga differences tayo, may mga kanya-kanya tayong pinagdadaanan. So may mga kanya-kanya tayong rason for saying yes or for saying no. So lagi siguro keep that in mind. And siguro yung intention na hindi ka naman for the sake lang of wala, parang hindi mo pinag-isipan yung no mo, no, na ayoko, ganyan. Although may mga preferences tayo, di ba? May mga preferences tayo and we need to be able to express that as well. So, hindi ito pupersahin ka na mag-yes ka na lang na mag-yes, but more so express yourself, especially if you value the relationship. No, importante na napapaliwanag mo yung side mo. Yan. So, madami pa tayo. May mga tanong pa tayo sa Slido po ba?
Kailangan po bang
Kailangan po bang laging maging genuine ang self mo sa relationship?
I guess dapat lagi. So para ikaw din mismo, if you're saying that you are happy in the relationship, you are really happy. No? So hindi siya dahil sinabi mo lang na masaya ka, pero hindi naman talaga genuinely yun yung nararamdaman mo or nararanasan mo. So, kaya maganda yun, no? Importante yun. Yun yung nakikita kong dapat lagi. No? Kasi pag pinifake mo yung sarili mo, so ikaw din yung nagsasuffer doon. Na aside dun sa relationship, personally, ikaw nahihirapan ka din. Yeah.
Siguro for me, medyo a little bit on the different side of the coin case, man. I think you should integrate aspects of genuineness. Kumbaga, sometimes kasi hindi tayo fully genuine either with friends, with family. Depende rin kasi sa relationships na meron tayo sa kanila. So, parang if hindi ako super comfortable telling this to my friends, mas comfortable ako with my parents. So, I think important din na may aspect of na genuine ka. Kasi pag hindi genuine, dun mo parang dun ka parang medyo mawawala. Kumbaga, hindi mo clearly ma-define yung wants and needs mo in terms of the relationship.
So, I guess it's depending on the level of relationship that you have with the person. So, parang kumbaga kung bago pa lang, parang you peel the layers in some sort.
Sa trabaho, ganun din eh. Hindi naman lahat ng pagkakataon, kailangan genuine ka. Siguro genuine ka dun sa mga tao dito, nasa circle mo, sa boss mo, sa co-worker mo. Pero yung mga pagkakataon na kailangan mo humarap sa iba, hindi naman kailangan genuine ka eh. Kasi kailangan mo ipakita yung best mo eh. Kailangan yung best side mo ipakita mo. Hindi naman, halimbawa, nalulungkot ka, kailangan lumabas ka ng pisina, malungkot ka. So, siyempre, hindi. Kailangan i-separate natin yung emotion natin doon sa professional aspect ng buhay natin.
Same ganun.
Actually, parang ganun eh. Agree na lang sa sinabi nilang lahat. Kasi yun lang din naman talaga depende on the level of relationship. Pero, ayun. as much as possible, gusto natin makapunta tayo dun sa point na we are showing our genuine self. Kasi dun lang din tayo mas magiging at peace with ourselves when we are on those type of relationship kung saan freely we could express ourselves.
Dun sa 100%.
Sa 100%.
Yun. So, I think...
Sa work din kasi ma'am, halimbawa, kung papa-apekto ka sa nararamdaman mo, kung 100% mo ipapakita kung ano yung nararamdaman mo, hindi ka mag-perform ng 100% sa trabaho eh. Kasi may mga pagkakataon na malungkot ka, pero kailangan mong magtrabaho. May mga pagkakataon na wala ka sa mood, pero kailangan mong magtrabaho. Bakit? Trabaho yan eh, professional ka eh. Kailangan ipakita mo yung professional side mo dun sa ano na yun.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think depending on the context also.
Yes.
Kung nasan ka, anong hinihingi ng sitwasyon sa'yo, yun. So, yung genuineness siguro nag-vary siya. Yun. Meron pa ba tayong questions? Ay,
Parang ako mag-isa ka sa office.
pwede po tayong mag-request siguro ng staffing, pero again, di po tayo sure kung may yes or no tayo na responses. And how can we grow po as a person without growing apart with the people that we value the most?
If I may, ma'am, siguro that can't always be the reality. Kasi some people you're meant to meet at different points in your life. Some kasi also may differ na in values as you grow up, as you experience different things. And that's not a reflection of your worth as a friend, as a daughter, as a person in a relationship. Nagkataon lang na iba na yung kung nasan ka at kung nasan sila. So sana hindi yun yung maging definition ng worth ng ating sharer as a person or ng reflection ng all the good things that happened between the person you had that relationship with. Pero yun lang, what's realistic also is acknowledging na sometimes we do grow apart from people because of different situations and aspects din po.
So for Ma'am Bea, it's part of growing. No, yung growing apart with the people na baka hindi na sharing the same values with you. It's part of it. No, you cannot grow when you're just staying kung nasan ka at maintaining kung ano lang yung usual na values mo. Just for the sake of maintaining these people.
Sa akin siguro iba na kasi side of a husband. I'll grow together. We will grow together. No? So and yung growing apart is out of the picture in us. Kasi yun nga, no? Individual differences, yes, we accept that. But we also share same achievements. Kung ano yung achievement ko, achievement niya rin. No? Kung ano yung mga goals niya in life, ganun din yung goals ko. So I guess, how can you do that? Keep relating to the people that you value most. Since you say na you value them most, then I guess there's no such thing as growing apart, but rather growing together. No, because you're sharing all the concepts, no, with inside the relationship. No, so sa akin ganun, sa tingin ko ganun yung kung paano. No, if you keep relating, communicating your needs, etc. No, yung mga good thing about yourself and mga downs lahat. So you don't grow apart, no, to them, but instead yun nga, you develop along with them. No, kasi if you value them, I believe so, they also value you. So kaya hindi ka na nila pababayaan.
Plus one yun sa perspective ng anak. Magbabangka ko sa answer ni Sir Matt. Makikiright na rin po.
Maganda siya nakapagka dun sa teamwork or sa office siya. Pag in-apply mo siya sa opisina mo. Kasi kapag ka yung tawag dito, yung isa lang yung nag-grow sa inyo, tapos yung the rest na iiwan na, eventually aalis yan. Lilipat yan, mag-aanap yan kasi hindi siya makakontain doon ng isang opisina na hindi kaya sumabaytan. I mean, hindi, kasi kung nag-strive siya na mag-grow, tapos yung, naalala niyo yung flip ba yun, yung nilagay nila ng garap sa garapon? Yung talon niya hanggang ganun lang. So nung inalis na yung garapon, Ganun na lang din yung talon niya. Ibig
Nasanay
sabihin,
na siya.
napipigilan yung growth niya. So feeling ko kapag ka yung mag-grow apart ka talaga, pagka ang goal mo ay mag-grow ka lang sa sarili mo. Pero pagka ang goal ninyo ay mag-grow together, mas maganda, di ba? Kung sa opisina, ma-apply siya, mas okay. Kasi lahat yun, magsasabay-sabay kayong magbubong. So, sabay-sabay din na mag-grow yung office nyo. Dadami yung mga networks nyo, dadami yung... Pero kapag ka yung tao kasi depende siguro sa goal. Kapag yung goal mo is pang personal lang, mapag-iiwanan mo talaga lahat ng mga kasabayan mo. Pero kapag ang goal mo ay mag-grow kayo together, ano yun, mas ganun din, mas magandang effect. Kasi sabay-sabay kayo. Siguro depende kung sinong gusto mong kasama. Depende kung sinong kasama mong mag-grow. I think pag gusto mo na mag-isa ka, may iwasan mo talaga. Hindi may iwasan mag-grow apart sa iba. Pero pag gusto mong may kasama,
Doon lumalabas yung preference uli di ba?
Siguro sa ito yung sinasabi ni Sir Dustin, ano siya yung growing together sa work, ganyan, that's relationship. Pero yung mag-isa ka lang, that's personal growth. That's siguro professional growth, career growth. No, napaka centered to yourself. Pero kung as an office kayo, that's a relationship.
yung magandang goal. Sana lahat ng office ganun.
And I think nabanggit din yun sa grad school, yung sabi mo nga na pare-pareho yung may goals kayo.
Kaya I would have to agree din sa mga sinabi nila. And siguro yung parang middle ground is, but possible naman na we can grow as a person without growing apart. Hindi naman siya dahil nag-grow kayo other people. And plus dun sa question is, this is the people we value the most. So we value our growth as a person, as an individual. And then sa question, we also value these people na we don't want to lose them along the way. So siguro importante din yung hinighlight ni Sir Mac kanina na as much as you can do with a relationship, no, let's try to bring each other up. And importante yun sa grad school na isa lang naman kayo ng goal na makagraduate at kayo lang din yung magtutulungan. Kaya sana yun yung kultura na ma-establish natin within the relationship na tulungan tayo. Buhatin natin yung
Help each other out.
Sabi sa silence.
Siyempre, academic integrity. Honor and excellence.
Sharing notes pa ba?
Hindi, actually, sa akin sa LRC, meron kaming motto na sinasabi lagi sa mga bata, learn and share. Kailangan mo mag-learn, i-share mo sa iba. Para
Yes,
So,
sharing is caring.
Yes.
yun yung gusto mo mag-grow together.
Yeah.
Sharing outside of the
I
quiz,
think yung nakuha ko dun sa mga responses is, if you value this person, diba, hindi mo siya papabayaan na mag-grow apart kayo while growing on your own. No? But at the same time, siguro yung i-add ko lang as a host, siguro dapat same level kayo ng person na yun ang pagbavalue. Kasi baka ikaw, you value it the most. But then again, sa kabilang banda, the person doesn't value, kaya nag-grow apart, no? No, I'm just saying, kasi diba, if it's gonna be, kasi it grow together eh. So it's a choice of not just one person, no? It's a certain, kung friendship yan, barkada yan, I'm so sorry, bakit masakit? Well, reality po, no? So, yun, it's also important na evaluate na bakit ba siya nag-grow apart? Baka kasi yung kabilang side, hindi na nakikita na valuable pa yung relationship niyo together. So, it's always going to be two sides, no? Kailangan natin respetuhin kasi parehong side. Yan. So, those are the instances. Maganda na nag-grow together, but then, you know, pag baka nag-grow apart kasi nga may mga hindi na pareho ng values. Ayan. So, in line with that, syempre, dun sa relationship, building relationship, baka nag-grow apart, no? I would like to know naman your stand on giving constructive criticisms. No? Kasi parte din yan ng relasyon. No? Building, mas mag-improve pa. So, papaano kayo magbigay or any suggestions or tips that you have for the viewers to give constructive criticisms without the painful part of the criticism?
Thank you, sir. Personally, it's the sandwich technique. Kung familiar kayo doon, yun po, no? It's, yung sandwich technique, it's highlighting first, no, kung yung efforts, good points sa pinakita, and then yung areas for improvement, and then close it with another positive point, no? Kasi in this way, we'll be able to parang show the person na we see them, we see their efforts, and mas ni-highlight natin yun more than the areas for improvement na hindi natin, para ma-avoid natin na mapapid sa mga taong ito na they're defined by their mistakes kasi they're more than that. And siguro maganda din na after we give constructive criticisms, we try to explain ano yung basis ng criticism na yun, na hindi lang basta sinabing ganito ka, dinefine ka as ganito. Pero binigyan mo ng explanation at if warranted, sana mabigyan din natin sila ng suggestion how to improve those areas from our point of view. So yun po yung sa akin.
Siguro sharing regarding ko niya sa damit na susuotin, no? So yung tatanong yung misis ko
pagkain na technique. Not technique.
I mean, yun lang, no? For example, ganun. Tatanong, Daddy, okay ba itong suot ko? Maganda ba ito? No? So parang constructive criticism, no? So sasabihin ko, okay naman, bagay sa'yo, no? Fit well, ganyan, no? Maayos. Pero sa tingin ko, mas maganda kung ito ang susuotin mo. No, so kumbaga in a way hindi mo parang sa akin personally parang hindi ko sinabing hindi siya talagang akma pero parang sa tingin ko ito mas maganda parang ganoon. So in a way yung tingin ko doon yung pag-deliver mo nung gusto mong iparating would be hindi siya nakakababa nung tao esteem. No, so sa akin ganun lagi yung parang when I do constructive criticism towards my wife, toward my daughter, no, so parang hindi dapat you go against dun sa mga preferences na but rather there's always a suggesting thing, no, na okay naman yan pero baka ito mas better. Parang ganun siya. So ganun ko siya tinitake on yung constructive criticism. Ayun.
Ayan, ito, very interesting na naman po ito sa pamilya at sa trabaho. Lalo na if you're relating, and nandun din sa question sa slide, no? If you're relating with someone who's may authority sa'yo, older, perhaps parents, syempre, no? You're suggesting or giving constructive criticism sa taong nagpalaki sa'yo. Diba? And also with for example, kay Sir Dustin, yung sa boss, no, when you're relating with an authority or a superior, no, papaano siguro you give constructive criticism. Kasi nabanggit na ni Ma'am Micah yung sandwich technique, no? So positive, negative, positive. Yung kay Sir Matt, pinuri niya naman, pero parang may mas maganda. So parang may pure plus suggestion, no? So, sa inyo, paano naman magbigay ng constructive criticism sa parents or kaya naman, let's say, for example, older person or boss?
Siguro for me po, kasi in the context of family, sometimes you have to ask kung gusto ba nila ng opinion ng iba. Kasi mahirap din naman pong mag-suggest to another person who's not open to change. And in the context of families, not unless may family business kayo, na the profits would really rely on a decision. I think important din to ask if the person is open to changing something, to listening to opinions din po. Pero at the same time, I'd like to also take what Sir Matt said, na if it's important for you to say something to that person, to show them na, okay, ito ang ganda, yun, kay Micah din po, ito yung good points na mga ginagawa natin right now, pero ito po ang suggestion ko, baka po, we could tweak this, we could tweak that. It's integrating what they know and parang using it in a new way or integrating new methods para at least andun din yung part na acknowledgement, kaya nasabi ni Micah na andyan yung efforts nila, pero at the same time also na-acknowledge yung room for improvement po.
Kumbaga, hindi disregarded yung mga ideas nila.
Yes.
And it's important also yung nabanggit nga ng Bea to ask na okay lang ba if I could share may opinion on this, ganyan. So, in a very respectful manner. Sir? Sir?
Pero mahirap naman talaga mag-correct ng Diyos eh. Kung sa lahat naman ng pagkakataon, mahirap mag-correct ng superior. Especially kung nakasanayan na nila yung process na ini-insist nila. Kaya lang, may mga pagkakataon na kailangan natin mag-introduce ng mga bagong ways eh. Kaya paano mo yung sasabihin? Through suggestion. Hintayin mo na lang naman kung medyo ko. Usually kasi magsasuggest ako. Tapos gagawin ko yung utos nila, pero yung suggestion ko gagawin ko din. Kumbaga parang
give options.
Ma'am, ito yung ginawa ko. Ito yung suggestion niyo. Binibigay ko yung dalawa. Para lang siguro to hindi siguro lahat makakagawa, no? Pero usually kasi ang ginagawa ko, hindi ako nagko-correct ng mas mataas sa akin. Naglalagay lang ako ng option. Kung ito yung gawa ko ito yung inutos niyo. So yun yung lagi kong ginagawa. So pagka mas pinili niya pa rin yung okay lang, at least pinakita mo yung kesa i-insist mo sa kanya na mas maganda tong sa akin. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon maganda yung sa atin eh. Sa pananaw siguro natin maganda yun. Pero dun sa mga traditional, siguro kailangan pa rin mag-adjust. Siguro mababago lang yun pag ikaw na yung nakaupo. Hindi mo nang i-insist yung gusto mo. Kaya lang, kapag hanggang hindi pa ikaw, mas maganda yung suggest ka lang suggest. Suggest mo ito, suggest mo yan. Tapos kapag magko-correct ka naman talaga kung may mas mababa sa akin, magko-correct ka, kailangan i-correct mo siya privately. Hindi mo siya correct sa kung saan. Ay, mali yan ginagawa. Parang ang pangin naman. Mas maganda yung magkakaroon kayo ng private or closed door meeting para mag-correct ka naman. Para maging professional din or kumbaga hindi walang samaan ng loob.
So we have to always remember ano ba yung intention ng constructive criticism, di ba? Para mapabuti naman yung
kaya lang kasi
tao.
yung iba, yung mga hindi kaya i-separate yung emotion nila dun sa trabaho nila, kailangan talaga maging careful ka eh. Kasi kailangan pati yung pagsasalita kung paano mo i-deliver. Kailangan ganito, ganyan.
So,
tapos sandwich effect.
Yung sa sinabi ni Sir, yung correcting privately, I mean, you can also apply that sa parenting siguro sa child. I mean, kasi we know it, no? May mga parents na talagang mas, ewan ko, ano ba napapala nila, papapaya yung anak nila sa harapan. Right then and then, on the spot, pagagalitan sa harapan ng mga kaibigan, ganyan. No? So, may mga sasabihin hindi masyadong maganda. So, parang, syempre, may epekto yun sa pag-iisip, sa nararamdaman ng anak. No? So, yun, no, magandang method yun. No? I agree with that. No? Nagagamit yun, yung sabi mo na yung anak mo, then tell, hindi maganda yung naging sinabi mo, ganyan. So, privately, I think may learning doon, mas may change na positive, no? Gaya ng sabi ng host natin ni Ma'am Jess.
Yun. So, nandun na tayo sa pagbigay ng criticisms, no? So, syempre pag may criticisms, minsan may conflicts. So, let's talk about conflict resolution naman. So, in your experience, what were the skills that helped you in resolving conflicts within your relationships, no? And at the same time, pwede nyo na rin siguro dito maipasa or ma-share yung mga panahon or experience na na-realize nyo na kailangan nyo i-improve yung relationship skills ninyo. Tapos ano yung mga steps din na ginawa?
Sa akin, no, just to share, bilang husband, no, yung kasi yun nga, no, natural din naman talaga sa mag-asawa ang hindi kayo magkasundo, magkaroon kayo ng mga pagtatalo, no, tampuhan, no. So sa experience ko, parang during those times, yung parang naging mali is yung hindi ako nagko-communicate, tatahimik lang ako. Pero hindi ko gusto, no, parang masama yung nararamdaman ko, parang hindi ko gusto yung naging desisyon, kaya tahimik lang ako. So, tapos eventually parang, mas nag-create pala ng problema yun. So, what I've learned, no, there is the bigger importance ng communication skills, no? Kasama sa communication skills yung listening skills. No, so yung active listening skills, no, talagang nandun ka, nakikinig ka dun sa misis mo, sa husband mo, no, as they explain kung ano man yon and ano yung mga nararanasan nila. So by that, yun, no, kumbaga yung skill na yon para sa akin, napaka-importante niya, no, to maintain the relationship and to upgrade the relationship, no, yung pagkakaroon ng good communication skills, no, na nakapaloob doon yung active listening skills. So ayun, no, yun yung parang experience na naalala ko na pwedeng ma-relate dito.
Thank you, Mr. Sana All. And one, additional to communication skills, yung nabanggit ni Sir.
Parang about conflict resolution, no? Before, dito sa UP Manila, I used to be a guidance associate sa BSC. So siguro doon ko i-draw to, no? Kasi part of the guidance program is highlighting, teaching the students, lalo na yung mga primary students, doon pa lang nila natututunan paano mag-deal with conflicts, no? So parte yon sa mga tinuturo namin sa students about conflict resolution. So paano namin siya hina-highlight to students? Una, parang ina-explain sa kanila na every individual is unique and they are bound to have different views. Kaya it's a normal experience to encounter conflicts within the relationship, no? And importante na ma-highlight na itong conflict na to, it could escalate, no? Kaya importante na we deal with this conflicts peacefully para hindi siya mag-escalate into a bigger problem. So how do we do that peace process? Una, parang syempre kailangan nandun yung mga bata, nandun sila sa state na calm sila. So, we let them breathing muna, relaxing, no? And when they're calm, perhaps it may be time, no, to express themselves, parang using the I statements wherein they tell how they felt about the situation. Like, I felt hurt because you called me names. And then they would take turns doing that. This is what I feel because this is what you did. And then after that, they would take turns naman acknowledging how the person felt. So sabihin na isa, I heard you say this and this, no? And then after they acknowledge kung ano man yung na-feel ng bawat isa, so mas may understanding na sila dun sa nangyari, hopefully, no, maybe it's time to repair na the harm. Wherein, they will take turns then saying sorry for what they did and then telling na parang, I'm sorry, and then I hope next time, ito na yung mangyari, I need you to do this. Can we agree to that? Parang ganon. So at this point, parang they are finding na a common ground, no, which pag-aagrihan ng dalawang tao, no. And ayun, 'di ba? Parang in that process, parang yung skill siguro doon is knowing, recognizing how you feel, acknowledging how the other person is feeling, and then finding, parang utilizing yung mga peaceful problem-solving skills para mas maging maayos, mas naintindihan, at nagkaroon ng rooms for improvement dun sa pag-aayos ng conflict. So that's how we teach conflict resolution dun sa mga bata. And then may another question, ma'am, sorry. Ano po ba yung isang question?
Anong question? Yun na yung question. Yung parang, in terms of conflict resolution, and then at the same time, meron na bang experiences when you realize na you need to improve your relationship?
Skills.
Tapos ano yung ginawa mo?
Siguro din na lang din sa conflict resolution. Kasi siguro personally, no, din sa, let's say for example, when I'm dealing with family, ganyan, somehow I didn't grow up learning that peace process. Kaya nung natutunan ko siya, teaching it, no, doon ko na-realize na kahit hindi ko to, I'm not used to doing this, I need to apply this kasi ito yung right way to do things in terms of resolving yung conflicts, no. And yun siguro, ma'am, nung natutunan ko yun, napansin ko na it may be helpful in dealing with my relationship, then I must, ayun, parang nakita ko yung need for me to develop these skills within those people kahit na it didn't occur to me
At a very young
age. Kailangan pa rin siyang matutunan. And wala namang age yung pagkatuto. Parang yan.
Actually, maganda siyang explanation in terms of, kasi pag bata, ang dali niya ilagay na, alam na, when you are a childlike kind of person, ang dali magpatawad, ang dali maging okay. But in the perspective of an adult, madami ng additional factors where it becomes too difficult to do yung peace process. But nonetheless, it's worth trying if you really want to have an improved relationship with people, no? Kasi yun nga, parte ng relasyon ang conflict. It will happen. It's bound to happen. So, paano mo ma-address or paano mo maaayos? No? So, maganda po, try nyo i-search, di ba? Peace process. Kasi, so I understand, medyo madami yung in-explain. So, step by step din, na additional to the communication skills, no? You go through yung proseso na kalmado ka muna, diba? So to also set or ground yourself, diba? Hindi ka mag-blurt out lang ng mga masasakit na salita, especially sa adults. Ang mga salita ay may talagang sharp na yan. No? May mga dating na yan sa atin. Hindi natin nakakalimutan basta-basta. So maganda yon. So may mga grounding, tapos may level, may phases that you go through dun sa peace process. Yun. So how about sa inyo naman? Anyone?
Siguro sa professional, sa opisina, pag magdidil kayo ng conflict, dapat within the opisina rin. Hindi kailangan lumabas, hindi kailangan malaman ng iba. Kasi usually, tsaka kailangan agad-agad. Kung nagkaroon ng problema, kailangan i-resolve na kaagad. Kasi kapag pinatagal niyo yan, eventually, dahil naiinis na yung kasama mo, magkukwento na yan sa katabi niya. Ganito ganyan, naiinis na ako. Tapos yung katabi niya, magkukwento na. So, yung problema ng opisina nyo, lumabas na. So, hindi na siya within the office. Hindi na siya conflict within the office, within the university.
Contain within the involved.
Kaya kailangan immediate yung pag-resolve ng problem. Tapos, yun nga. Ito yung problema ko dati. Dati mabilis akong mainis, mamintin ng ulo ko. So, kailangan kapag ka-professional ka na pala, hindi ganoon. Kailangan i-practice mo yung pagiging calm mo. Kailangan i-practice mo yung, pati yung tono ng magsasalita. Siguro kapag ka-personal tayo magka-close or kamag-anak, kapatid kita, tataas talaga yung boses ko. Pero kapag sa labas, kailangan hindi ganoon. Kasi hindi mo yan kadugo, hindi mo yan kamag-anak, hindi mo yan kaano-ano. Magkasama lang kayo professionally. So, kailangan you deal with them professionally. Hindi yung kung taklesa ka sa labas, dapat taklesa ka rin sa loob. Hindi ganoon. Kailangan professional ka, kailangan magsalita. Kailangan pinag-iisipan mo yung mga sinasabi mo. Then as much as possible, kapag ka nag-deal kayo ng conflict, documented. Kasi ito yung sinabi nyo last time, ito yung sinabi natin last time, ito yung nakapagkasunduan natin. So kailangan ito yung gagawin. Kapag ka kasi nag-deal ka ng hindi ko sinabi yun. Pero dahil opisina kayo, dahil nasa loob kayo ng kailangan documented kayo.
Para may ma-review din.
Para kung magkaroon man ng babalikan nyo yung sinabi nyo last time. So, sino yung hindi tumupad sa usapan?
May binding at documented.
Mahirap kasi kapag...
Screenshots din.
At dahil anak rin po silang lahat, anak po tayong lahat dito, kukunin ko po isa-isa sa points nila. Kumbaga, at some point when you're dealing with conflicts within the family, you also have to have a level of calmness kapag ina-address yung issues. Kaya nang sabi ni Micah, you have to be able din to express yourself in a way na it doesn't place judgment on the person. Kasi minsan dun din nagre-react yung ibang tao na, ako ganyan, sinasabi mong ganyan ako. So, important yung I statements nga. Tapos sabi nga rin ni Sir Matt, it's important din to communicate. Ayun, in a way na okay yung situation, okay yung tono, na medyo de-escalated na. And gaya rin po ng sabi ni Sir Dustin, I think with family members, although it's important na calm ka, it may be good kung it's addressed immediately as well. Para hindi rin siya nagpapatong-patong, dun kasi pumapasok din yung nauungkat na pag isa pang away, nagkakasumbatan na ito ginawa mo before, ito ganyan. And if man hindi ma-resolve at that level or hindi open yung kausap sa pakikipag-communicate, then maybe it's time to turn inwards and see what you can do for yourself, what's within your control. Kasi gaya nga ng sinasabi rin natin with family then, it's a lot of different reactions coming together in one household and you can control that, we can control that. So what can you do for yourself? What can you compromise on in terms of your own practices, your own activities? So, ayun po.
Thank you. So, napakadaming shinare na mga steps, no? Yung mga pwede nating very concrete things to do, no, in bettering our relationship with other people. May it be with our family, professional man yan, if you're a student sa school, no? And also yung, nabanggit din yung importance about sa self, no? So, maganda lahat yon. At syempre, decision pa rin yan ng mga tao sa paligid, no? Whether they would be following or copying yung mga naging tips and suggestions. But siguro wish we have more time, no, to answer everything. But to siguro close our panel discussion, any last words or final words from our panel members, no, in relation to upskilling the relationship skills of our participants this afternoon?
Siguro ako na lang din po para hindi ako magusan. Hindi, joke lang po. Siguro for me, I think as a person, not just as a daughter, as a partner, as a student, remain kind in how you interact with others, but also remain accountable. Kasi like Mom Jess, it is a decision, it is knowing na yung actions mo, the way you interact with people, it does have consequences. Kaya important din yung kindness kasi that's how you begin to understand yung perspectives ng ibang tao. You begin to be more patient with yourself as you grow, as you progress in how you deal with other people.
Okay, sige. Siguro para somehow yung mga nabanggit kanina na mga importanteng points na highlight that every individual is unique with varying experiences and performing at different capacities. Sinabi ko ulit, no? So, sana we have that in mind, no? And yung pagkilala talaga sa sarili, it would start with that, no? Get to know yourself, get to know kung ano yung mga values mo, preferences, interests, no? And let it guide you towards how you would interact with other people. Kasi it's bound to happen that they may influence you at some point. Kaya importante na you stay true to yourself kung ano yung mga pinaniniwalaan mo. And as much as possible, we create a culture or we create yung parang pinaka-environment within our relationship that we help each other grow. That would be advice from us.
Okay. Sige. Okay. Ayan. For me, yung last words ko about relationship, upgrading the skills, no, work together, no, and yung working together ninyo, yung mga ups and downs, learning experiences are very can be used, no. So I think yung mga matututunan nyo along the way will be a helpful tool para mas ma-upgrade nyo pa yung mga meron na kayong skill, kakayahan, no, inside the relationship. Kasi naniniwala ko, each one of us, no, meron na tayong mga baong skills, no, in relating to people around us. So, dahil sa mga experiences na re-receive natin, no, inside and outside the relationship, no, mas natututo tayo and become more better person. So, I guess yun. Gamitin nyo yun in building more stronger relationship.
Sa akin naman, siguro kailangan lang natin itrato yung bawat isa ng may paggalang. I-value natin yung relationship natin, maliit man yan o malaki. Kumbaga, matuto na tayong mag-compromise. Hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, yung ego natin yung papagiralin natin. At higit sa lahat, kailangan natin maging professional. At tatandaan natin, trabaho lang, walang personal.
Thank you so much, our dear panel members. No? And to give us a synthesis of the whole discussion, may I now call on our University Guidance Counselor, Mr. Wilfredo Francis.
Yes, thank you very much, Miss Jess, and to the members of the panel. Napakaganda ng ating conversation ngayong hapon dahil narinig natin yung iba't ibang perspektibo at pananaw kung paano natin ma-enhance yung ating relationships. Actually, first we have to congratulate our LRC staff. If you've been paying attention to the chat, they've been giving summaries. Actually, a very good documentation of the yung perspectives, no? Very detailed yung binibigay nila mga tips na in-extract sa thoughts ng ating mga guests. But basically, what we've been listening this entire afternoon is that learning to establish and to sustain healthy relationships involves the acquisition and development of certain relationship skills. And what are these relationship skills which we have been hearing from our guests, from our panels? Basically, relationships have to be built on a foundation of common values and agreed upon goals. And as we work on these goals, we have to navigate towards mutually beneficial processes and ends. Yung ba, our relationships agree on what is important for both parties. Our relationships agree on processes through open and honest communication, which are based on real-time feedback, which is based on authentic feedback, which is based on respectful feedback. Relationships are strongly built when we are honest to ourselves, we are respectful of our boundaries, when we learn to ask for help when we need it, when we learn to refuse when it is not healthy anymore. It's also very important na rinig natin sa ating panel na just as we are open to criticism and improvement, we should more importantly also acknowledge the goodness which we see in ourselves and in other people. Whether we are a student, a family person, an employee, or as a friend, relationships are very important. Contexts change, demands in relationships evolve, so it's very important din na flexible tayo. So a healthy relationship is also flexible. Flexible tayo sa ating pananaw sa sarili natin, flexible tayo sa pananaw natin sa kapwa natin, understanding that we all come from different contexts, we have different capacities, and we allow people the time and space to be who they are while allowing ourselves the patience to be who we are also. So we recognize the sacredness of the other person, kumbaga. Again, I'd like to commend the LRC for being thorough sa documentation, no? Very thorough sila sa ating paglalahad ng mga bagay na matutunan natin. And just like any life skill, we do not acquire life skills after listening to a webinar. We acquire life skills by practicing what we hear. So hopefully we get to take on one point or another from our panelists, and we practice them in our relationships with our friends, family members, and office mates. So thank you very much to our panelists, through Matt, Dustin, Micah, Dela, and to Jess, and to the people behind the scenes, Ma'am Ciara and Ma'am Jo, for putting all of this for everyone's benefit. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you, Sir Francis, for that synthesis. And some announcements first. Yan. Share screen natin. So yung evaluation form would be also shared in the chat. So kindly fill that up na lang. And then for the LRC upcoming events, we have 2 for March. No? Nandyan yung mga dates and what would be those events. Again, I'd like to thank everyone here that joined us this afternoon. Also to Ma'am Jo and Ma'am Ria for the technicals. Ang aming camera woman nandito rin sa gilid namin. Ayan, so thank you so much. And of course, IMS for providing the venue for this panel discussion and making this possible, no? And again, it's a really good collaboration between LRC and OSA. So once again, this has been Jess, your host for this afternoon, and thank you, and we hope to meet you all soon, siguro. Thank you. Thank you.